towards, Parliament, and they're trying to ensure that that particular finance bill 2024 is rejected. Earlier on, we saw them chanting reject finance bill 2024. We equally saw them chanting that the government of the day should go, a government that is led by President William Ruto. And just remember that these protests are not only in Kenya, not only in Nairobi. We've seen different, places like Texas, Kenyans who were joining us from the US, UK, joining in the protests. So let's just listen in to what is happening here in Parliament in Nairobi.
Kama ungekuwa na mapya huko ndani saa hii ameingia. Acha tunachukua tu kwa direct. Mana?
All right. Earlier on, we saw them chanting.
My bad. Hi, Michael.
Sorry. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Hello, everybody.
Hi, comrades.
I only see Leora in the chat there. Hello, Leora. But I don't know who. We got 7 other viewers from what I can see. So whoever you are out there, hello.
Leora's welcome. Leora, you're new.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we've seen you or not before. You seem vaguely familiar, but we don't see you here nearly as often as everyone else. So what's up?
Okay, so maybe that's why I have a bad memory.
Remembering her falsely or not, but
oh, okay. Okay, she knows us from Heartlands Media.
oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, this is our first show. Okay,
Yeah, I've probably seen you in I watched there.
Well, welcome. We're glad that you are here.
Well, I watch Heartlands Media usually every morning, Monday to Friday. But yeah, sorry. We're glad you're here.
That early. I can't get up that early, so I always catch it later. But I have been able to catch it once or twice, maybe.
Lately, that's what I've been doing is when I wake up, I turn it on and I rewind it to the beginning because he's usually live been live for an hour, maybe 2, depending on how late I get up. But with my dog now, I gotta stop getting up late like that. Now I gotta start being more.
You got to take the dog for a walk.
Yeah.
Leora, that is on Mondays at 5 p.m. Central. On Thursdays, it's myself and Michael for Noteworthy.
Yeah.
So civilian discourse is on Mondays. So come back Monday. We'll be here. We're gonna be doing. We're gonna be going over the 11 demands with Eric T. Red. We'll be on demand number 2.
You going over it again?
Well, it's 11 demands, so we're just gonna go through all of them.
Right. Yeah.
Each show. So it's a 11-part series, I guess. Whenever he's available. So he said he'll be available Monday, so that'd be cool.
That was a good discussion we had last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in the chat for you. 11demands.org. So if you don't know who Eric T. Red is, he is the admin or moderator for Sabby Sab Show. He also has his own YouTube channel, so go subscribe. It's Eric T. Red. And he put together a list of 11 demands, so that things that we as leftists want. And we're just trying to like flush them out, see if there's anything that could be added. Just kind of talk about them with our comrades, our civilians, and get people's opinions. See if they have any thoughts about them, and just get people learning more about it. So, like the big thing was, okay, remember Occupy Wall Street, which was huge, but they didn't demand anything. So Eric has done the work to start putting together demands. So the next protest breakout, we'll have something to demand.
Yeah. Well, everyone loves to say, go out there and get organized, right? But then what does that actually mean? It means things like making a list of demands and actually organizing with other people as to what those demands should be and whatnot.
Oh, you were living in New York at the time. So was I. I did go down there. It was awesome. I still have my Occupy Wall Street shirt. I should wear it one day. It was awesome. I went down there several times, and the police basically just left them alone because, the winters are brutal in New York. So they just said, let them have their stupid little protests. And by the time the winter comes, they're going to leave anyway, because we'll let the weather end this.
Yeah. Well, it's strange how protests in the States don't seem nearly as effective as certain places, other parts of the world. It seems like in Kenya, they maybe know how to protest a bit better, or I don't know, there's different conditions. Maybe I don't really know what I'm talking about there. But.
I know where they really know how to protest. France.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of part of their protesting is kind of part of their culture. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, and they do mad work. They'll drop cow shit at your doorstep.
Mm-hmm. They'll like shoot it out like a shit gun all over the Parliament building or some kind of thing like that.
I think one time didn't they let out the zoo animals or something?
Oh yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
They're very creative in their protests. So, yeah.
Well, other people have other ways of being creative, but I feel like gluing your hand to the asphalt is not really that creative. To each their own, I guess. Mm-hmm. These damn flies are bothering me today. I got no screens on my windows, and this heat dome has passed now, so I don't need my AC running constantly, so I get to deal with the flies instead. So.
Oh, that sucks.
That's okay. They wake me up. They don't let me sleep. Anyway, we're kind of we're trying to keep it a bit short today. Should we move to our topics here?
Yes, Leora, it was very funny. It was just like zebras and and gorillas on the roof. It was crazy. And hi, Lawrence.
Oh,
Good
there
to
you
see you. Good to see you. Everybody's being quiet in the chat. I guess we got to start. So
Yeah. I don't know who else
y'all
is
have
broadcasting right now, but maybe it'll be a quieter show for us tonight. That's fine. We're not really trying to make big splashes today, but then it just seems like in the news, I feel everything seems like there's a whole lot of things popping off all at once. So I said to Abby earlier, I feel like a dog chasing cars. I don't know if you remember me writing that, because there's too many stories to follow, and they're all like significant. They're not like little things. Like I would love to cover all these things. Like for example, the Israeli parliament has voted so that the ultra Orthodox Jews have to be conscripted just like the secular Jews too, and that's going to be one of those contradictions that really like does damage to the stability of the state. Like
wait, say that again.
one of the ultra Orthodox Jews have been law has been passed that they have to be subject to the conscription laws just like the rest of the citizens in Israel.
I heard about that.
And yet they're part of their whole setting up of the state in the first place was these Orthodox Jews. Their part of their support was kind of conditional on them having these sorts of religious exemptions, and so now that they're not getting them, it is sort of highlighting the hypocrisy of the Zionist claim that they have something to do with this Jewish religion when they really have more of a disingenuous kind of distortion on effect on the religion. So
the Leora says the ultra Orthodox have dispensation from the draft because they study Torah and that's their contribution to the state of Israel.
Right.
But that's been taken away, and they also don't work. The men don't work. They just study Torah all damn day.
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of life.
And I was reading that even they get them studying the Torah so much that they're actually intentionally neglecting more important basic skills that you need, like reading and writing and math and stuff like that. But it's okay because they know everything there is to know about this holy book. So
yes, Leora, their wives do all the work. Their wives are basically maids and sex slaves.
Yeah, but my contribution is
pretty disgusting
now, right? So anyway, that was just the one thing I noticed, and then there's these other topics. There is the Federal Reserve has allegedly been hacked by a hacker, so-called alleged Russian hacker group called Lockbit.
Of course, Russian.
Right, of course. Although the did a little bit of digging into the idea, the proof that this is connected to a Russian group, and it's quite circumstantial and speculative and not really properly proven. It's finding an online like pseudonym or like all these different accounts and then linking it to a person's name in just like tenuous kind of ways. Like they haven't really proved it to my my rigor. I don't know what you want to. I'm tongue tied at the moment, or whatever. But they haven't not to my satisfaction have they proved jack shit. So there you go.
I mean, it's always Russia.
Right.
I mean, Russia blew up their own pipeline, so why wouldn't they do this?
It's just the
sarcasm, folks.
The Occam's razor idea that the simplest explanation is usually the right one would be, to me, that maybe I think a little too 4D chess kind of thing, but if you want to be a hacker and get away with it and you want to hack the Americans, even if you're an American yourself, what you need to do is have a Russian kind of pseudonym, a patsy, because that's the gullible thing that they'll believe. So then again, there is the animosity between the Russians and the Americans with this whole Cold War, Ukraine war thing. So who knows, right? There's no real way to verify. That's the problem.
Yeah. Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you. That means so much to us. It really does. And hi, Robbie. I kind of see you over there. I'm like kind of looking, but not.
So then there's the Trump debate supposed to
Well,
happen.
before you talk about that, I was just gonna say, um, I was hoping it was gonna be anonymous who did it.
Oh,
I'd
the
like to think
hacking.
they're on our side.
I forgot about Anonymous. I don't even know what if they're still around or whatever. But I think whatever they were, they've morphed into something else. Maybe this Lockbit people are anonymous. But I was kind of getting the impression that Anonymous was like probably the American government or whatever, or something like that, like the Five Eyes people. Just
You think?
I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
like. I'm too much of a. I may be a nerd in some ways, but I am no tech nerd by any stretch. So this is not a conversation that I can really like understand. I need somebody to tell me what's going on with this shit. So, but
Uh, I mean, it's possible that anonymous could be like CIA posing like they're for us, and they're really just exposing people that you know have aren't jumping in line the way they're supposed to be.
yeah,
It's possible. You never know.
and
The world is a stage.
it's also possible that it's just genuinely like a couple of like teenage super hacker nerds, like prodigy kids who grew up and are not teenagers anymore, and now have this full-fledged organization. Because if you know all this, how much money can be made with this stuff, it just kind of makes sense to do this instead of
Look,
sit there and pay taxes and be the state's bitch like that. But
that's my hope. I hope that's what it is. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Assange. Oh, today is Wednesday. Is today? No, today's Thursday. So he pled guilty yesterday. He's already in Australia, I think.
yeah,
Hi, Bryce. Good to
so
see you.
it'd be. I guess we could offer our 2 cents on Assange, but I feel like everyone's kind of covered
Everyone's
that.
already covered it,
They've
yeah,
already
because
said
it was
whatever
such
can
a
be
big
said.
deal.
There
Oh,
are
we
more.
broke it on civilian discourse. We broke the news.
Yeah,
that
that was pretty cool. You guys
was
broke
pretty
it to me,
cool.
and I was like, oh my god, I did not. It was one of those double takes. It's like, did I really just read that? I didn't really understand. Like, I didn't believe it at first. It seemed like a joke. It's like, no way. Yeah,
Yes, Leora, like he had to plead guilty, signed a plea deal. Of course he's not guilty, but you know, I think Biden is just trying to like, oh, we got to get this off our plate. You know, November's coming soon. There's certain things we got to give these motherfuckers. What can we give them? Okay, Assange, yeah, let's give them that. What else? I mean, they probably broken him by now. I hope not. I hope he got out and he's so angry that he's gonna go even harder.
right. Well, Assange getting released and everything, that whole story is kind of what inspired me to dig into uh, this hacker story, because somebody had made a comment that some other things were like being like coming out that they didn't want come out, and they were being kind of vague. Just somebody in the chat, and I didn't really understand what they were talking about. So then I started looking into like what's coming out that they don't want people to talk about instead. So then I thought maybe this is what they're talking about. But yeah, sorry to ramble.
No, you're fine. I was just reading this comment. Can you see it?
I have a theory I've been dragging around with Miguel and Dr. Nick. Oh, where'd it go? I think they are lining HRC up to run instead of Biden.
Leora must hate us. Don't say that. Masterminds in the house. We were just talking about you. So we can't. Oh, I have to take this. This is for my mom's doctor.
Okay,
I'll be right back.
That's all right. Yeah. So then the other topic we had, besides the hacking thing, was this Kenya story that's broken. So, not sure what you guys would rather talk about first. We could maybe, should maybe talk about Kenya first, and then because that seems a little bit more important. So, I didn't exactly have my screen share ready, so bear with me here for a moment while I find something to call up. There we go. All right, can we see that? All right, cool. Let me just go sort through my tabs here. Sorry, guys. Trying to get a little organized here before we got started, but my computer has been acting up lately, and so it's been taking a long time for me to get organized. But so here we are. All right. So here's just a quick Twitter post to kick things off. The government critic says, as patriotic citizens of Kenya, we call for the immediate resignation of President William Ruto. We can't be led by a president who keeps on fooling and lying to us. Hashtag Road to State House is on. Matukufu lies, must resign. Tupatane Thursday. I don't really understand all their references because, we're all the way over here and they're all the way over there. But let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. I just wanted to highlight this post because it had this official statement here. So, official statement, call for the immediate resignation of President William Ruto. We, the citizen of the Republic of Kenya, hereby declare that we no longer recognize William Ruto as the president of Kenya. We recall his presidency and urge him to resign with immediate effect and surrender his office to the Kenyan people. His tenure has been marked by incompetence, mismanagement, and a persistent failure to address the pressing needs of our nation. We believe he is unfit to lead and demand his resignation forthwith. President Ruto's administration has been characterized by a series of scandals, ineffective governance, and a blatant disregard for democratic principles. Under his leadership, Kenya has witnessed a decline in economic stability, increased corruption, and a deterioration in public trust. These issues have had a profound negative impact on the lives of ordinary Kenyans and have undermined the foundations of our democracy. We urge all Kenyans to join us in this call for William Ruto's immediate resignation. Our country deserves a leader who is dedicated to the principles of transparency, accountability, and good governance. We can no longer tolerate a presidency that is marred by such profound failures and abuses of power. In light of these concerns, we give William Ruto 48 hours to issue a statement of resignation and to vacate his office. This period is essential for facilitating a peaceful and orderly transition of power, ensuring that our nation can begin to heal and move forward under new leadership that is committed to serving the interests of all Kenyans. Our demand is grounded in a deep love for our country and a steadfast commitment to its future. We envision a Kenya where the rule of law is respected, where public officials are held accountable, and where every citizen has the opportunity to thrive. Achieving this vision requires new leadership, free from the taint of corruption and incompetence that has defined William Ruto's presidency. We call on all sectors of society to support this demand and to work together to ensure a smooth transition. Our collective action is crucial for building a better Kenya. We must stand united in our pursuit of justice, democracy, and progress. Citizens of Republic of Kenya. So that was just that one. And then, sorry. Are you back now?
Sorry, I missed all of that. Ugh. Yes. I mean, Mastermind knows, like when they call, you got to answer because it's so hard to get them.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you just make your.
I've been dealing with this problem for 2 months. So.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I don't mind. I just kind of have to get practice a little bit better at kind of handling that ad lib unexpected. All right, you go talk now.
I'm sorry to throw you under the bus like that, Michael.
That's okay. So I wanted to open with that little statement I saw on Twitter, and then next thing I wanted to share was the Communist Party of Kenya.
Todd Smith said you did great, by the way.
Thank you. I just kind of read verbatim, so. And
Can you make that bigger for me? So let me, while you're doing that, I'm going to read this comment. So part 2 of my theory, oh, she's about to stab me in the heart again. Part 2 of my theory is that Biden can't perform with all of the rules stacked in his favor, or we figure out that the guy is wearing we kind of talked about this, a CIA mask. Biden and Harris will step aside for there she goes again. Yeah, I'm going to be looking really close to see, is this really Biden or is this somebody in a mask? Or did they pump him up full of drugs today. Like, I can't wait to
I
see
really
this shit
can't
show.
decide. That's a conspiracy theory we could talk about one day, just for fun. But I can't tell necessarily if Joe Biden's dead and been replaced by a clone or some actor with a ski mask on it or whatever, or if he's just this senile, demented, Alzheimer's, and he's acting that way because he is almost about to kick the bucket. I really can't tell.
Mm-hmm. And Jacqueline, yes, HRC would be 10 times worse than Biden and Trump. She's like a seething war criminal. I think she takes pleasure in it. Ugh, that lady
That's the
disgusts
thing.
me.
Everyone's always, oh, it can't be worse or whatever. This is as bad as it gets. Trump versus Biden. It's like, just don't even say that, whatever, because you tempt the gods, whatever, to throw something worse at you. It can always be worse, and there's always a Hillary waiting under a rock, you know.
Well, like Leora, I wouldn't call them conspiracy theories because this world is a stage. We all know they're lying to us. We just have to figure out how and why and what's coming down the pipeline. So I don't call them conspiracy theorists. What's a better term for it? Free thinker, maybe? I don't know. Michael, they're joking in the chat talking about they're going to bring, we're not just going to have super delegates. Now we're going to have super duper delegates.
Yeah, of course.
I never knew what the hell a super delegate. I was like, what the hell is a super delegate? When did that happen?
I still don't really know what that is. The American system is like the most complicated system I've ever seen. It's
No,
definitely
they basically made the shit up. And,
Yeah.
and then like Biden was like, oh, I can't. Oh, I would do that if I could, but I got to listen to the parliament. And I'm like, who the hell is the parliament? Aren't you the president? So you mean to tell me I should have voted for the parliament and not the president? Like, how does the parliament have more power than you? What are you talking about?
Yeah, you guys have a parliament? I didn't even know you had a parliament.
Me either.
Thought you had a Congress. I thought that was the difference.
It's a person called the parliamentarian.
Right.
Whatever the hell that means, I don't know. I should look that up. What the hell does that mean? Where did the parliamentarian come from? We should do a show on
Sounds like
that.
it comes from the word parley a little bit, you know, but that's like a pirate thing.
And it's a woman, because I've looked this up before, but I just can't remember. But anyway, you could. I'm just gonna go Google it right here, and you could start.
Yeah, I'll read this next little statement here. I have to find a better way to organize my tabs here because I can call it up to share the screen, and then if I hop on back over to the StreamYard so I can see what the chat's saying and stuff, then I gotta search through the forest of tabs to find the whatever. Anyway, here we go. So, too little, too late. Ruto must resign. Statement by the Central Organizing Committee of the Communist Party of Kenya. In the wake of intense demonstrations against the Finance Bill 2024 and the consistent, resolute demand for the resignation of President William Ruto, the president has made a belated and insincere about-face, declaring that he shall not consent to the bill and ostensibly acceding to the people's demands. This disingenuous capitulation comes only after Ruto ordered the brutal murder of more than 10 confirmed protesters and unleashed death squads to massacre more innocent lives in Githurai. Sorry if I butcher that. We must not allow Ruto to escape accountability for the innocent blood he has shed in the streets. These demonstrations have clear and simple demands that we insist the president comply with. During the post-election protests, Ruto was responsible for the murder of many innocent souls. It is imperative that the police bosses, all of Ruto's henchmen, and Ruto himself be held legally accountable for these crimes. We also demand restorative justice for the survivors of the avoidable massacres orchestrated by the corrupt Ruto regime. Let's tell Ruto we are aware that the president is legally unable to withdraw a bill that has already matured for assent. His options are limited to returning it to Parliament with a memorandum for the inclusion of his proposed amendments, which, if rejected by a 2/3 majority, would become law. Why dupe Kenyans into imagining he can withdraw it in totality? This is a legal conundrum, a deceitful ploy to buy time and distract Kenyans from their urgent demands. Moreover, this morning, Parliament went on recess until June, so how will the bill that has been referred to Parliament on recess be amended? I feel like that should say July maybe, but not sure
Let's look
when.
at the date.
Yeah, I don't see a date quite here. But these protests only started a week or two ago. So
Right. So
if this statement is from last week, it's not exactly old news.
or maybe that's why the protests kind of started, because it's now the end of June. So they're like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Right. So
I'm doing a lot of parsing today.
But especially with things blowing up, they maybe won't really have the opportunity to be publishing so much on their website. Timely.
Yeah, let's see these demands. Let's call out these demands.
Right. So the Parliament went on recess till June. So how will the bill that has been referred to a Parliament on recess be amended? We today put forth the following 10 collective demands to sum up the temporary pause of protests. Number 1, a total cessation of taxation on basic commodities such as food, healthcare, and education, and the complete rejection of the Finance Bill 2024. We totally reject window dressing paltry amendments that may happen with the bot crowd in Parliament. And number 2, an immediate end to the interference with our national sovereignty by foreign institutions such as the World Bank, IMF, NATO, and their financiers. Number 3, the provision of decent jobs, sustainable livelihoods, and the implementation of Article 43 within 6 months. Number 4, quality housing and compensation for all those illegally evicted. Number 5, free and quality education for all. Number 6, free and quality healthcare for all. Number 7, an immediate end to state violence in the form of abductions, excessive use of force by police during demonstrations, and extrajudicial killings. Number 8, the return of all stolen public land and a clear plan for food sovereignty. Number 9, fair compensation for all workers providing essential services to the country. And number 10, an immediate end to the privatization of public institutions and state-owned enterprises.
I mean, that's kind of like all the things we're demanding. It's
Right.
like, it's just the same. No matter where you go, it's like we're not asking for much. Just, don't be tyrants and stop being so damn evil.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, as far as us looking at Eric the Red's 11 demands there, and then those 10 demands right there, I feel like
I know.
whatever overlap there is should be analyzed and appreciated.
Yeah, you have to send me that link so we can I'd like to keep referring back to it while we're going over these demands.
Well,
Yes, Jacqueline, they're very reasonable. It's very reasonable. It's like anything a decent society would expect to occur, basically.
I can just drop the link in the chat there. Why not? I might as well there in case
Thank you.
Put there. So I had a couple other articles. Let's see. So some of the things that they mentioned there in their demands, like no to the IMF and stuff. This is where it's kind of oops.
Bad Cookies is in the house.
It's sort of important to have that. Oh, hey, what's up, Bad Cookies?
Oh,
but it's good to hear the
I'm sorry.
communist line before you go reading the mainstream article, right? So
before you start
up?
that, let me put this up for you. Bad Cookies is being bad. Okay, over here.
Hey, you stirring the pot.
We're not blocking anybody over here. That's not happening. I mean, that's basically censorship to me. So
Yeah, I'm not.
I could stand on
Not
my
too
own.
fond of the moderation, and that it tends to give people.
Oh, I want to hear this story.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hi, Sean. All right, can you make it big for me?
I don't know if it's me or you,
for the
but you seem a
audience.
bit glitchy there. I don't know if it's for everyone or not, but can you hear me? Or
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Tasha?
yeah,
Is that better?
you're still a little glitchy and stuff. I think it's my computer is just getting too slow, running at 100% and stuff. So that's okay. No worries,
Yeah,
bad
she
cookies. You didn't
because
really do
Tasha
it.
says
I
she
was just
can hear me.
trying to get set up. Sorry to talk over you.
Sean's been no, you're fine. Sean's been sitting in the cut quiet all this time. We have 20 people here. Welcome everybody. We're so glad you're here. There's 12 people in the YouTube and 8 and X. I don't think you can comment from X. Because I was watching a live from X and I couldn't.
I don't
It
even
was
know
just too
how to.
cumbersome to comment. I didn't like it.
Oh,
Thank you, Lenora. She says, "Is everyone subscribed?" Yeah, I did watch Judge Joe Brown, and I was like,
right.
"Why is he here? What the hell?"
The chat and
Thank you for reminding us,
on
Leora.
Twitter
Subscribe,
sucks compared to
like, and
YouTube.
share.
It's kind of hard to catch what you're saying because you're buffering and glitching a bit. I thought things, but I did not anticipate how laggy my computer would be. So hopefully,
If
but
you want to
next
send me
week
the
I'll
links,
be not having so many tech issues. I don't know if you can hear me, Abby, if you're still there or not, but yeah, okay, I can hear you, but your video seems to be buffering.
That's you. That's just you. I'm here.
Anyway, I can move to this next article if you can see it on screen. Did I lose you, Abby? Sorry.
I'm here.
Sorry, guys. If well, just I can't tell what's going on because everything's very slow and buffery. And then, go ahead.
Why don't you leave and come back?
All right. Yeah, good thinking.
Yeah, try that. We're just gonna hang out and shoot.
Maybe I can drop you the link for this article, and maybe you can call it up while I do that.
Okay, sure. Wait, I'm being nosy now.
All right, there we go.
What?
That's just I wanted to talk about the dollar bonds thing because they were talking about the IMF not selling out Kenya to the president wants to do so. But I'll be right back. Try and leave and come back.
Okay. So I'm being nosy. What's going on? She didn't even defend herself. She went straight into smear town. Who is she? Is he talking about Savvy Sabs? I wasn't looking at the chat. Oh, I defend Savvy's right to defend herself. She's being criticized, but that crossed over into bullying territory. Now I gotta go watch this. I need to go straight to Pettyville with y'all. It's funny how Savvy can't push back when she's worried about her celebrity access. Ooh. Ooh. Let me mind my business. Let me mind my business. Okay, I'm going to share this and start reading it for you guys. Excuse all the advertisements. I refuse to pay to not have advertisements. Okay. Kenya dollar bonds deepen losses as Ruto abandons tax plans. Do you want to read this, Michael? Or
yeah, I can read it.
Okay.
Okay. So, Kenya dollar bonds deepen losses as Ruto abandons tax plans. Kenyan's sovereign dollar bonds extended losses after anti-government protests forced President William Ruto to scrap a $2.3 billion plan to balance the budget and make the country's debt sustainable. the nation's 2031 debt security fell to its lowest price since being issued in February, pushing Kenyan bonds as a group to one of the worst performances among emerging and frontier markets since June 18th, when demonstrations began. At least 17 people were killed and dozens injured in the protests so far. That number is probably higher by now. Kenya, like several other developing nations, faces an urgent need to carry out fiscal reforms as it seeks to cut elevated debt levels, contain soaring interest costs, and secure funding from the International Monetary Fund. So this is where you cannot trust the mainstream news, because that is not the solution to their problem. That is the cause of their problem. So this is where I tried to preface what this article is saying with what the Communist Party of Kenya was saying, and who they're, I would imagine, is quite involved with behind the scenes with these protests. So, but people signaled little tolerance for further pain after post-COVID inflation spikes left them trapped in a cost of living crisis. Lawmakers initially gave up the most contentious proposals, including a 16% levy on bread. Excuse me. But the protesters continue to demand the whole plan be scrapped. That's what Ruto did on Wednesday via television address. I concede, the president said, I will not sign this finance bill 2024. I run a government, but I also lead people. No, you don't. Fuck you. And the people have spoken. Yeah. Emerging market countries are still dealing with the repercussions from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, especially the negative spillover effects into higher global energy and food prices and the resulting rise in interest rates, said Simon Kijano Evans, chief economist at Gemcore Capital Management, in a note to clients. So what the capitalists have to say to each other is always considered to be like the most relevant thing as far as what's going on. But what I find significant here is part of what's causing this shit to blow up, like at this particular moment in time, in this particular place in Kenya, has everything to do with what their central banks have been trying to do with their manipulations of their interest rates. Because it feels like to us, when we don't really understand this financial stuff, that it's not really doing anything. It doesn't really mean anything when they hold a number at 2% instead of 3%, but it does have some pretty far-reaching consequences, and one of which is actually tried to write this down so I didn't forget it. So let me just call up the exchange rate between the Kenyan shilling and the US dollar fluctuates based on various factors. For instance, the US Federal Reserve's decision to consistently hike interest rates has led to a significant depreciation of the Kenyan shilling against the dollar. This is because higher interest rates in the US increase the demand for the US dollar, leading to an outflow of dollars from countries like Kenya to the US. So when the US dollar hegemony is being threatened, sorry to go on and on. You go ahead, comment.
No, you said higher interest rates lead to.
Yeah, I guess so. The higher the interest rate, maybe the more demand for US dollars there is, like from a place like Kenya for the capital flight, for the money to like leave the country, I'm guessing, to try and hopefully I understand this correctly. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but there are, depending on what, and I think so if that would be true about high interest rates, then when with the lower interest rates would be the opposite, would likely be true, generally speaking, because these things are kind of complicated.
So are we talking about rates on like CDs and bonds and stuff? Because that would make sense to me.
Yeah, that's where this article is about.
Okay.
The bond, Kenyan dollar bonds.
Okay, because I was confused. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Okay.
Right. So people tend to kind of not really understand the bond market or talk about it as much, but like where we all talk about inflation and everything, but like the bond market has a lot to do with everything or whatever. And it's in order to understand what they manipulate the interest rate and stuff, but what they're really doing is manipulating the bond market and stuff. So as far as these bubbles, what I was trying to get into today, there's the housing bubble that we all know about and love. And then underneath the housing bubble, there's the credit bubble that they're building to prevent the housing bubble from popping. And underneath the credit bubble, they have this the fintech bubble underneath the credit bubble, because a lot of the electronic credit these days is being manufactured by these technology companies that are pretending like they're super valuable, like fucking Tesla with their garbage products and whatnot. But anyway, I'm getting distracted now, so
Tell Bella to chill out.
yeah.
She scared the crap out of me.
She's got her giant bone there.
Okay, so you're right here. Sub-Saharan Africa had been one of the harder hit due to the substantial weight of food in their respective CPI baskets and the increasing exposure to hard currency debt. After abandoning his fiscal plan, Ruto has few options as he looks to rein in a budget deficit running at 3.3% and an interest burden that takes away a third of government revenue.
Right. So
you want to keep reading, or
yeah, I don't know how. It's not really that much longer. I guess we can finish it off. Combined with a very young and dynamic population that is facing economic challenges on all fronts, all this is clearly a huge burden for African society, as seen in the reactions to Kenya's finance bill, said Kijano Evans. The East African nation's securities have handed investors a negative 1.3% since June 18th through June 25th. The biggest losses after Gabon and Egypt in a Bloomberg index of developing nations' sovereign dollar bonds. The EM average was a positive return of 0.3% in that time. The protest began after Ruto pushed for taxes on everything from motor vehicles to mobile money transfers to help stabilize the state's finances. Kenya agreed an economic plan with the IMF in 2021 that agreed to an economic plan with the IMF in 2021 that commits the government to reducing the budget deficit, boosting revenue collection, and curbing wasteful spending. Okay, any kind of agreement with the IMF is just wasteful spending, because you end up wastefully spending money on debt payments to a debt loan shark. But anyway, concerns about Kenya's long-term solvency are growing. Hasnain Malik, a strategist at Telemer, wrote in a note dated June 21st, although the nation's short-term external liquidity issues have been mostly resolved, its latest fiscal performance has been disappointing, he said. Additionally, there is significant opposition to the ambitious budget, he wrote. This underscores the challenges Kenya faces in making its debt sustainable. Its debt would be sustainable if its government were not being encouraged to cut its nose off to spite its face in order to please the Americans. You can't have sustainable debt if you're being encouraged to run the country against the interests of the people, which is exactly what everyone knows that's what they're doing. They're not getting away with it like in secret anymore. Everyone knows, can see. We're not stupid. So last year, Ruto faced similar protests.
We're not slow.
Yeah. Last year, Ruto faced similar protests that left more than 50 people dead, but those didn't have the nationwide reach seen in the latest marches. In the past, his biggest foe was opposition chief Raila Odinga, but this time around it was the young Kenyans who have earlier been apolitical. Kenya needs to raise the revenue one way or the other, and reforms are always painful in the short run, said Soren Moerge, portfolio manager at Danske Bank. These fucking bankers. Kenya needs to raise the revenue one way or the other, and reforms are always painful in the short run, but always necessary. You always have to fucking
feel it won't be painful to him, though. He's straight. It's going to be painful for the workers.
Let's see you, Soren. Pay some of this fucking bullshit, whatever. I bet you he's not suffering in any way from this, but anyway. That's the end of that one.
So Kenya needs to raise the revenue one way or the other. Oh, you read that part already. I'm sorry. Yep. Okay. So, Michael, people in the chat were concerned that the FBI was knocking on your door.
Yeah, because with their bone. I feel strangely like that'll never happen somehow, but I'm probably in some kind of ignorance about that.
Not DMX. I mean, I'm glad you brought this up because it's people in the chat are like having a side conversation about it. So I think this was a great topic. Michael picked the topic for this week, so you did a really good job picking the topic.
Thank you. Well,
Yep.
this stuff's all been happening in the background, and people are a little bit distracted by the wars and stuff. Understandably, it's not really, even calling it distraction is a little bit unfair, but our attention is drawn in that direction, and part of what's driving all that war is what the Federal Reserve is up to, and it's like this NPR article I got. It's called "How Managing Money Creates Huge Profits for the Federal Reserve." Right? We all heard this story. They just create money out of thin air with a flick of a switch. But that has
but not for us.
Yeah.
Well, for us, you have to figure out how to pay for it. You got to pay go.
Yeah. So the idea that they're being hacked is like to me an interesting, like, if that's legitimate, then there would be like the entire integrity of the financial system is very much at real risk, and that would mean that nobody can really trust their money in their banks anymore, obviously, which is what I feel is true. But other people, the point is that as long as people are convinced that their money is safe, then they'll keep it there. I mean, I still have a bank account. I still technically have money in the account, but kind of need that to pay bills and stuff. But
I mean, technically, your money is supposed to be guaranteed up to $250,000.
I should maybe turn my camera off. I'm gonna have a smoke. I don't need to be smoking in front of anybody, so pardon me, guys. I'll be back in a moment. Do you wanna pivot to the hacker story? Or you wanna keep talking about Kenya, or what time? We got 54 minutes in.
I'm gonna read some of the chats while you do that, because Bad Cookies, you did not derail the conversation. We could walk and chew gum at the same time. You know, you're fine. You're totally fine. So let's see. All right, let's see what else is going on over there in the comments. I guess maybe not that much. So, are you back?
Yeah, well, I got this. This is a bit of an older article, but I'm still here. I'm just like gonna be smoking while I read this, so hopefully I can read without coughing or whatever. But we'll see.
Okay.
So I had read this article like last week, and then doing my research, I felt like it was worth recalling it because I feel like it's kind of connected now. But this is how my brain works. Whatever, I can't do a topic on one thing. Everything's connected. So to me, it's all one big story. But to everyone else, I'm talking about 8 different things. So U.S. banks on brink of collapse, $517 billion losses threaten 63 banks. Oh, yeah. You remember that whole fucking Silicon Valley Bank thing last year or whatever? This is very much just under the lid, just waiting to...
Can you make it bigger?
Yeah, sorry.
And the banks are too big to fail, so...
Right. So even though they're constantly failing, they just fail upwards until the one day that it all comes crashing down, which you can never predict. So the health of the U.S. banking system is a topic of constant scrutiny. Recent data from the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation paints a mixed picture. Banks reported a significant profit jump for the first quarter of 2024. According to the FDIC, the combined net income for 4,568 insured banks reached $64.2 billion, a surge of $28.4 billion, or 79.5% compared to the previous quarter. This upswing is attributed to a significant decline in non-interest expenses, partly due to one-time charges referring to irregularly billed items recognized by large banks in the prior quarter. So it's funny to see that there's talking about a decline in non-interest expenses when all they're doing to rein in inflation is manipulating interest rates, which only affect economic arrangements that make money based on interest payments. So if other people are making their money, their profits in ways that aren't really through an interest payment, then those manipulations have no effect on rearing inflation. Just saying that. Additionally, banks benefited from higher non-interest income and lower provision expenses in Q1 2024. However, unrealized losses remain a significant problem in the U.S. banking system. Banks' unrealized losses have increased significantly, reaching $517 billion. These losses stem primarily from their holdings in residential mortgage-backed securities. Sound like 2008, anyone? When interest rates rise, the value of those securities falls. While these losses are realized once the securities are sold, they can become a significant burden if banks need to raise cash quickly. This marks the 9th consecutive quarter of high unrealized losses, coinciding with the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes that began in early 2022. So they may be hiking these interest rates as if they're solving some kind of problem, but the entire time they're doing that, they're just kicking the can down the road of like not realizing the losses so that they can actually balance the books. So that was all I kind of wanted to read from that article. In the interest of time, we could just read that last paragraph. But
Can we read the last part? Increased number of problem banks in the U.S.
Yeah, the FDIC also reported a rise in the number of banks on its problem bank list. These banks are at risk of insolvency due to various financial weaknesses. However, the FDIC emphasizes that the number of problem banks remains within the historical range observed during non-crisis periods. So they're just calling on recency bias, like it's literally just a fallacy that they're just like, not a fallacy, perfectly logical, whatever. But it's completely not logic, okay? To just say that because it was in historical range from before, that it doesn't mean that we're in a bad situation now. So federal agency assures that the U.S. banking system isn't in immediate danger. However, it acknowledges ongoing challenges posed by inflation, volatile stock markets, and geopolitical tensions. These factors could impact banks' ability to lend, generate profits, and maintain sufficient liquidity. Additionally, specific loan portfolios, such as those for office properties and credit cards, require close monitoring due to potential deterioration. The FDIC will continue to supervise these issues, along with funding pressures and shrinking profit margins. So the reason why I wanted to talk about the economy stuff again is because the Fed was allegedly hacked by these Lockbit people.
Ooh, somebody's having fun.
I don't know if you hear that motorbike home.
Did we hear it? So while you were saying that, I just got curious. So I said, oh, we have a failed bank list? Let me go find it. So there are, the problem, well, this says failed bank list. So there are 186 banks on this list. You want to see the list?
Sure. Yeah. Makes me wonder how many banks there are in total. There's probably thousands of banks. But what percent is that? Like 1% of them are failed? That's not.
Are they? Oh, these have closed. Oh, these banks have closed. So this this isn't the problem bank list. This is they actually failed. Like they're out of here.
Yeah, there's two lists there. Makes sense.
Okay. So let me see. Let me see if I can find the problem bank list. So which banks are in danger of falling or collapsing? Yeah, you tell me. 186. This is what the one I was looking at. Risk of failure or collapse. So maybe according to the report. So let's look at this report. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys can't see what I see. My bad, y'all. Let me stop sharing and reshare. So let me see if I can find any more information, because I'd love to know the ones that are at risk for failing. I mean, not that I'm jumping for joy or anything.
Well, it would be.
I mean, I kind of am.
I'm kind of curious, but like, because I don't really know, like, I'd have to do even more research to figure out who those banks are on the list. Because unless they're like the really big ones, like JP Morgan and stuff that I've heard of, Bank of America, like there's so many banks I've never even heard of. So.
Right. So see if I can find. Okay. They're not listing the banks though. Well, that kind of sucks.
Look at that.
You can access this list here. So what list is that? Let's see. The list is used by regulators, community organizers, and the public to monitor the performance of banks in meeting the credit needs of their community. The list is also used by banks to assess their own performance and to identify areas where they need to improve. The list is available on the FDIC website and can be accessed by the public. Well, this is good information. I did not know this. Did you
Yeah.
know this?
No, but I feel like these lists are with a grain of salt kind of thing. Like there's probably people who should be on that list that aren't. It's like they're black lists and white lists and stuff. So I was gonna share something if after that if you're ready now, or been kind of dancing around this topic. So let's actually delve into it here. This hacking story, because it's kind of turning out to be potentially something of a dud. Because as much as we want the Robin Hood feel good story, it's possible that they lied about actually having the breach the Federal Reserve like they want people to believe. But then there's the possibility that they have actually done so, and the Federal Reserve doesn't want us everyone to know how unsecure they are or whatever. We'll kind of have to leave it to everyone else to decide. Do your own research. Anyway, here, Lockbit lies about U.S. Federal Reserve data, publishes alleged Evolve Bank data. Lockbit's claims of breaching and exfiltrating data from the U.S. Federal Reserve have proven false after the group's leak countdown timer hit 0, but data allegedly for another organization was published. So maybe they lied, but maybe there's some significance to the stuff that they published or whatever. So let's see. As expected by researchers, the prolific ransomware gang failed to publish any Federal Reserve data, but it instead published data allegedly belonging to Evolve Bank and Trust, an organization a U.S. Federal Reserve Board called out earlier this month. The first download link on the Lockbit page links to a press release by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System announcing action against Evolve for deficiencies in the bank's anti-money laundering, risk management, and consumer compliance programs. Examinations conducted in 2023 found that Evolve engaged in unsafe and unsound banking practices by failing to have in place an effective risk management framework for those partnerships, the release said. In addition, Evolve did not maintain an effective risk management program or controls sufficient to comply with anti-money laundering laws and laws protecting consumers. Every other link on the site leads to directories containing data that seems to belong to Evolve. According to the data, this includes payment processing information, customer relationship management data, and more. There were also files pertaining to Synapses, a banking-as-a-service startup that was partnered with Evolve Bank and Trust, but recently declared bankruptcy. Several researchers who have seen the data have ruled that Lockbit is bluffing, but others on X believe that there is more to come. So I don't know if you guys have any comment there. If you want to keep reading, or
You can keep reading. The chat is talking about something else.
yeah, because I feel like the real story it gets when you want to go deep enough into the rabbit hole is this Synapse.
There is one thing. Mastermind says maybe they can. Let me pull it up. Maybe they can pull a Maybe they could pull a Pentagon power move and declare that they failed their audit by $3.2 billion.
Yeah, who audits?
I don't know where the money went.
That's a great point.
Bad Cookie says yes, it's indeed done by the FDIC, but it's run by ex-bankers. Is the FDIC something that can be trusted? Yeah, I think not. I don't know if they can or cannot. Well,
Yeah.
Trust no one.
So as much as the hackers maybe are lying and bluffing a bit that they haven't done what we're kind of thought that they did or hoped that they did, they are still exposing that the regulator is at the very least failing miserably to actually regulate, and it's likely that they're failing to regulate because they are in corrupt collusion with these banks that they're allowing and these financial tech firms that they're allowing to have such risky like money-making opportunities at the expense of the public, right? So let me just finish this off here. There's just a little bit left. So the U.S. Federal Reserve. Oh, sorry.
I didn't mean to derail you. I was being sarcastic in my head. Obama's half sister got hit with tear gas in the Kenyan protests, and I was just like, "Oh, so sad."
Poor her.
Oh, poor her.
I can't see you guys right now because I'm sharing my screen, but that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That was worth it.
Yes, I'm going to hell for laughing.
Schadenfreude, how dare you? The U.S. Federal Reserve has yet to comment on the matter, as does Evolve or Synapse. Of course, all the bad players just don't have to actually say anything about what they're doing. Whatever. Cyber Daily has reached out to Evolve for comment on the matter. Lockbit listed the U.S. Federal Reserve on its site on the 23rd of June, claiming to have exfiltrated 33 terabytes. Of course, they had to go with that dramatic Masonic number 33, whatever, of juicy banking information containing America's banking secrets, which is kind of propagandistic, whatever. But it is basically what they're. When we get into the Synapse thing, there's like 10 million users left without access to their money. So it's like there would be a bank run if they could get to their money. Like, this is a serious situation, like serious thing that happened last month that unless you were involved in it, you didn't really hear about it. So the Reserve operates 12 banking districts around the country, which oversee money distribution within their respective districts. The 12 cities which are home to the Reserve banks are Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Richmond, Atlanta, Dallas, St. Louis, Cleveland, Chicago, Minneapolis, Kansas City, and San Francisco. It also alluded that ransom negotiations with the Federal Reserve have begun and that it is unhappy with any ransom offers made so far. You better hire another negotiator within 48 hours and fire this clinical idiot who values Americans' bank secrecy at $50,000, Lockbit said. The other thing about this...
Wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Another thing about this what?
This Lockbit, this group of people, apparently in the last couple of months, like in January and February, the U.S. or the FBI and stuff have been cracking down on them and like seizing some of their assets, and so this is like in retaliation, and it's like seems like what didn't kill them made them stronger kind of thing. They've only grown since then and stuff, and they're behind something like 44% of all the cyber crimes of 2023. So they're like, maybe Anonymous is this Lockbit people now. Who knows?
Maybe. So you stop sharing too quick.
Sorry.
I'm being deep. No, I'm being so unserious today. It's ridiculous. That journalist looks like a 70s porn star.
I saw that guy. I laughed out loud when I saw that guy preparing for the show.
Okay. Shout out to Old Man Barker. Shout out to Rondo Ellsworth. Shout out to Desert Mantis. They have entered the chat. And I just want to show this. Oh, Jacqueline, yes. I'm oozing with sympathy. I really care. I care too much. Okay, so I want to share this really quickly because I've seen this in the chat a little bit, and I figure it would be very satisfying to watch. And I don't think you've seen this because you were reading. But there's a Kenyan man during the protests who is smoking the tear gas. So let's play that because wow, that's crazy work. Come with strawberry flavor next time.
Nakuja. Namleta strawberry. Yeye mami nataka strawberry. Leta strawberry.
Damn, guys. Oh, look at that. Passing it around now.
I let you. I let you.
Yeah, that is. It's like Bryce said. That is some G shit right there. You know? That's like the revolutionary knows that he's already dead kind of thing, right? Like, you think you scared me?
Man. And you know what's crazy? Like,
My name is Lucy, and I have to figure out who I am.
All right.
Thank
The crazy thing about like American protesters, so we kind of discussed this Monday. So let me get your take on this, because Eric T. Ray, I'm not going to speak for him, but I'm paraphrasing a little bit, or let me just tell you what I think his thoughts are. That our protest should always be nonviolent.
Well, yeah, this is the tug of war we're trapped in. The debate.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, well, they're never going to do anything. They're never going to do anything.
But part of what happens too is like someone like me will try and advocate. We can't be doing this peaceful protest anymore. We need to do something more, and then it's like you kind of get called out, like, oh, you coward, trying to get other people to go put themselves on the line when you don't get off your armchair critic. You know, like I guess there's some truth to that critique potentially, but it prevents people from being able to have that stance. It's like
Rondo says American protesting is nothing more than glorified parades.
Yeah.
And I agree. I definitely agree.
We're not trying to go out there and create chaos. We were like, that would maybe benefit the state more than any of the people, because like you need to, if you're going to escalate things like that, it needs to be done with a disciplined, strategic kind of way. And then, yeah.
Well, okay. So peaceful protesting will still get your head bust open to the white meat by the police.
Yeah. We've seen it enough.
So exactly. Now, when I did not see it, we talked about this Monday too, is when the not fucking around coalition came to walk with the protesters, and they all had, weapons. The police didn't go anywhere near that shit. They stood back, like they were like on the sidelines, like, go ahead, go, everybody, you can go ahead, protest. So I feel like if we go out and protest, we need to go out and protest with people that are protecting the protesters. I mean, isn't that the point of the Second Amendment?
Yeah.
I'm not saying go out there shooting people. I'm saying defend yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, every time people hear about like guns on the news and stuff, it's about mass shooters and stuff. So then they instantly just start to think like guns are bad. It's never going to be a solution to anything. But then if that's the case, then how is it that all these people with all these power continue to train with all these guns and treat them as if they're so important? But then for us, we can't make that click in our mind.
And the only way, I mean, throughout the years, all this colonialism happened by force because they had weapons. So,
I mean, I hope one day
I'm not opposed to weapons. I have a few of them.
like nuclear weapons.
Go to the gun range.
I hope one day we can all put our weapons away and let them rust and melt them down and turn them into something better. But that's not happening. Not anytime soon. I'm not going to be.
One day. Hi, Randall online. Good to see you here. I'm trying to remember where I first met Randall online. It was in the chat in I don't know. One of these independent media areas.
Hmm.
Can you put up that Rondo comment? Because they are engaged in civil disarmament, they understand that the hour is late.
Talking about the canyons there.
Sean says, I personally don't like guns because every person I ever knew with guns had them as I'm a badass mentality. I, for one, respect what weapons are. It's a tool, not a toy. Correct. They're not toys.
It's
And
just
I
like,
don't think I'm a badass because I own guns. And I know you didn't say that, Sean. I know you weren't talking about me. Um, I was just saying that to say it.
no, but the
But
same.
go ahead. Sorry.
The guns and money have that same psychology problem where there's benefits to having money because of the power it brings you. There's benefits to the gun for the same reason, but the fatal catch-22 double-edged sword there is that seems to have like a temptation that is very powerful that can influence you more than you want it to. So
Yeah, I always thought it was weird, like people who take pictures with a bunch of money or take pictures with guns. I've always thought that to be weird. Like, what is your purpose? What is your point?
yeah, they're
Because you're
showing
not.
off.
Because I mean,
It's
yeah,
like
you're showing off.
looking, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's and it's not very. I don't know. My guns are secure.
But then there's
I'm a
also
responsible gun owner.
there's like this whole it's not just like when people do those images and stuff, other people see it and they like envy them, and so it's kind of like this status symbol. So like it's stupid, but it's the way it works or whatever. Like just from the anthropological perspective or whatever, people are gaining success in their life by pursuing these motives, and when they do pictures like that, they're kind of demonstrating their achievements, their milestones with empirical evidence or whatever.
Yeah. I I forgot my comment.
Sorry.
I got distracted from the comment. Okay,
That's
so
cool.
Bad Cookie says that not since what the Women's March has protesting done anything. The Women's March didn't. That wasn't. They didn't have demands. They just. I was at the Women's March, by the way, so I know this firsthand. It was just a parade, basically. It was. It was some liberal. It was some liberal BS, pretty much. Can you put up Jacqueline's comment for me, Shmasha? Not that one. Sometimes I feel that some of these gun owners are so attached to their guns, yes, me too, that if it came to a choice between giving up their guns or giving up their kids, they'd give up their kids. It would be, bye, kids. It was nice knowing you. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like some people's fascination with guns, like, and I'm just thinking, what, baby, you can't fight? Is that you don't know how to fight?
It's just like
That's
having a
the
knife.
first
Like
thing.
any training you do, you have to also prepare for the possibility of your weapon being taken from you, and then you'll have to fight without it anyway. So, and then people forget what you doing with all these guns. We got drones and shit now. You don't stand a chance. Just like
Oh, okay. He was talking about the women's rights march in the 1950s or 60s, not the Pussy Hats protest. Okay, well that makes more sense then. Yeah, it was ridiculous. A bunch of white women in pink pussy caps. I was just like, oh my god, why did I come to this? One of us is not like the rest of us.
so. Not sure if I don't know if I managed to properly cover the. I feel like there's a couple articles that I maybe should get to, because I don't know if I've properly explained the story about the hackers or whatever. They released this other information about this Evolve Bank, and then, but the real story is more about what was going on with this Evolve Bank and the Synapse Bank thing. So, just if I'm not sure if you guys maybe the chat can let me know if they want me to keep going or if they've had enough of that, had their fill of that dry stuff.
Let's see what the comrades say. While we're waiting to see if they want to cover some more, I just want to say Michael and I and Mastermind had toyed with the idea of doing a post show for the debate.
Yeah.
So I'm a little I'm concerned because CNN owns the complete copyrights to the debate, which is weird. So
Well, it's
I don't
dumb.
know if we would get like a strike for covering clips.
We can
I'm not
try.
sure. I don't know.
Only way
Once you start
try-
getting strikes, it gets really hard for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. But that it's gonna be a laugh fest. I'm about to pop some popcorn and laugh my ass off.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like
Or cry.
the worthy reason to be getting a copyright. We might want to try and save the risk to do so for something more important. But
Right. And I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
no, go ahead.
And conspiracy theorist Jacqueline, I think that they bought the copyright because they know it's going to be a shit show. And so they don't want it all over YouTube later. So they're like, okay, we got to give you this debate. You can watch it, but we're not after it. We're going to like sweep that under the rug. Sweep this debate right on under the rug. So history cannot record this fuckery.
Well, just it's so silly to me that they're gonna have the exclusive rights to this thing that they're broadcasting free for the public, the millions, hundreds of millions of Americans to watch and stuff.
That's
People
crazy, right?
They're gonna make their own recordings or whatever. I don't know.
Rondo says something about how this debate is structured seems wildly unconstitutional.
Well, it's interesting that there's no audience, no live audience. Kit was saying on Hardlands Media this morning that it's a nice symbolism for the state of the American electoral politics, that there's no democracy anymore. There's no audience, no need to respect people as if they actually matter.
I mean, when they did have an audience, it was hand-selected folks that are being groomed to become the next,
Yeah,
our next overlords.
like a sitcom audience,
Yeah, exactly. So Sean broke his foot, Michael. So
Oh shit, eh?
we wish you a speedy recovery, Sean. Aw, everybody hopes you feel better. Can you put up that rando? Not that one. Rando online. That's Rondo. We got a Rondo and a Rando.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Abby. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, but that's just me. I don't know. We gotta try to figure out what's the next nonsense that they're gonna try to pull. They're strategic. DD, who is DD? Mastermind.
Dissidents.
Oh, Do Dissidents is live streaming on Rumble, but it's moving. So I remember Savvy Sab saying, somebody might be live streaming on Rumble, but she didn't even want to try to do that because she didn't want to get sued. So I was just at Do Dissidents yesterday.
I hope nobody sues me because I really don't know how to handle that at all. Like, not really smart as far as the law.
Yeah. How the hell does someone get the rights to two people arguing? I don't know. Exclusive rights.
Well, I feel like they're all kind of bullshit and made up, but then that's not really the conventional. Like, everyone's very much, we need our rights. What kind of reality would there be without rights? But they're like a social construct, And as much as they're important and necessary, in a lot of ways they're very troublesome and problematic because they're not really real, but we have to make them real no matter what. They just matter so much.
Mm-hmm. Nobody commented on whether they want you to keep going or not.
Yeah.
So
Old Man Barker says, Michael, our frozen ass says, don't get a vote. Yeah. So that's as much as it might be a hot take that you don't have any rights or whatever, you're going to call me a fascist for saying you don't have any rights or whatever. All I'm pointing out is that the shit's fucking rigged and we don't have any rights even if you thought you wanted to. So.
All presidential debates should be handled by the League of Women Voters like it used to be. When was this, Rondo?
I don't know what he's talking about there. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I was today years old when I learned that. So if you could expound, that would be great. Okay, Rondo wants you to keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, because it seems like he's the only one there. Nobody else really seems too keen on it, but I'll do.
There's 24 people here. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, I guess. Hit the
Yeah.
whistles and fun.
We appreciate your support as always.
All right, let me share my screen here.
And go follow us on X. See Mastermind right there. Follow him on X.
Okay.
I don't even know if some of our folks are on X actually. Can you make it big?
Yeah.
Bad Cookie says, keep going, Michael.
Okay, so excuse me, been reading a bit, so sorry my voice gets a bit scratchy here. Evolve was served a cease and desist order. Now what? The Federal Reserve Board issued a cease and desist order against Evolve Bancorp and its subsidiary Evolve Bank and Trust that may have a chilling effect on bank fintech partnerships. In addition to a series of corrective measures focused on shoring up what have been termed deficiencies in risk management and compliance, there's particular focus on Evolve's open banking division and the Fed's Friday release of the June 14th release of the cease and desist order remains independent of the ongoing Synapse bankruptcy proceedings. Everything's independent and disconnected according to analytical philosophy when it needs to be so that they can have their plausible deniability. But fuck you, this is definitely not independent. Anyway, ban on new partnerships. In the read across for the evolving fintech ecosystem, the order notes that effective immediately, the bank shall not, without the prior written approval of the supervisors, establish any new fintech partners, subsidiaries, business lines, products, programs, services, or program managers related to OBD, or offer new products, programs, or services to an existing fintech partner, program manager, or subsidiary of OBD. All requests for prior approval shall be submitted in writing and shall contain at a minimum any proposed contract, any management, board, or board committee, minutes approving the activity or relationship, a description of the applicable measures to effectively manage the risk posed by the activity or relationship. Before exiting a relationship with a fintech partner, the bank shall conduct and provide the supervisors with an impact analysis on the bank's liquidity. So basically, they're saying, you guys are now our total bitch, and you're not allowed to do a goddamn thing without me fucking telling you every little thing you're about to do before you fucking do it. Because I am now your fucking brain, bitch.
You should be a journalist.
So
Bad Cookies agrees with that. Was Bad Cookies, right? He said you're spot on.
Right, but this is where the capitalists get all clutching their pearls. Where if you supervise us, then you actually regulate us, then you're gonna put a chilling effect on our ability to do business, and then we're gonna spend so much time asking you permission that we're not gonna make any fucking money. Well, too bad, so sad, or whatever. Because every time you fucking do, when they let you do work without supervision, you go fucking breaking rules and break shit and move fast, right?
Bad Cookie says you have that was a perfect translation.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate it. Someone sees things as I do there, that I'm not alone in the world. Right? Evolve, as noted on its website, partners with a wide array of fintechs, including Affirm, Bond, Stripe, and others. So if anyone remembers what T-Lab was going through, having bullshit like Stripe is accusing him of being a crowdfunder, so they're cutting off his access to the money that people are sending him, and they're forcing him to distinguish, just like these guys. They're acting like whatever. There's this distinct difference, independent of the other thing. They're trying to the Stripe people are trying to say, if we're doing a content creator, then people can support the content creator to make more content, and that's not technically a donation. They're just making up these arbitrary definition distinctions that don't really matter in real life, but it does for their financial illusion. So,
Hasn't like Stripe haven't ugh, I'm getting tongue tied. Haven't they in the past ended like donations to content creators?
that's what I'm
Because
saying, yeah. So
okay.
these people that are fucking with us and like censoring us, and in what is it probably illegal for them to do, to interfere with our ability to make money, so that they can make ridiculous profits or whatever, so that the Fed can give them a cease and desist order for the fucking shit that they're getting away with. Why the fuck is it allowed to happen in the first place? These people have too much power. Like,
and they want to go digital where there's no more paper money.
yeah, they want to make this worse.
Whew. I mean, then they'll have you by the balls.
Right. Yeah.
You can't even make money on the side, like a side hustle. That's
So all
going to
your
be
assets
awful.
frozen, right? But anyway,
Right.
so let me finish up here, and then I can get to the article about the Synapse people holding people's money or whatever. So, and it may be the case that a ban on new partnerships does two things: limits growth, at least of Evolve itself, and slows down at least some of the capitalist innovations that have been part of the promise of open banking, as regulators want to take a closer look at everything that's in the works, every contract, and must offer up its stamp of approval and a sign-off. See, I feel like they're acting like, pretending like, as a serious regulator, that they really want to take a closer look, but knowing their ideology, they're trying to. This is what always happens, that people request for more regulation. Is the regulator acts as if they're going to over-regulate in order to justify the need to under-regulate, so that capitalism actually works. But anyway, so all of
okay.
No, yeah.
No, that was a lot to take in. So, but I wanted to like re-emphasize that point that you just made. The regulator acts as if they're going to over-regulate, so then they get reined in, and then the outcome is actually under regulation, so the company could do what they want to do.
For sure.
Right? It's kind of like how Congress tries to squeeze money out of the post office or out of schools so they can privatize everything. It's kind of the same concept. They create a problem so they can find a capitalist solution.
Yeah, it's like that ratchet effect we were talking about. Yeah. It's like the twisting of the Hegelian dialectic, if you want to be academic about it, right? Anyway, let me finish this up, because I want to get this read up, and so I can stop reading. So, all of which
I can read
dovetail.
for you if you like.
Okay, you can maybe read the next one a bit.
Okay.
All of which dovetails with. Oh, you want to start? You go.
I thought you meant now. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say you could read the next article.
Oh,
after
okay.
I've been reading these yellow words here. But,
gotcha.
So, all of which dovetails with remarks made to Karen Webster, random person, this past week from Amias Garrity, partner at QED Investors. During an interview on the Synapse bankruptcy, Garrity observed that among the paths forward for Evolve, that I think another bank will buy Evolve, or Evolve will be out of fintech partnerships entirely. So this is the interesting thing, where what's the solution to the problem? Well, another bank can buy this problem bank. But this is why I talked about that first article, U.S. banks on brink of collapse. There's 63 banks being threatened. There's this whole list of problem banks or whatever. So it's anyway, Evolve is not alone here, as other BAS firms and fintechs have been served with orders that seek more stringent oversight of various policies, partnerships, and risk management. We reported earlier this year that the Federal Deposit Insurance Corps entered consent orders against 2 banks, Sutton Bank and Piermont Bank, last month. The orders spotlight issues with third-party relationships and banking-as-a-service activities. And as spotlighted here, a number of firms have been issued cease and desist letters from the FDIC for violations of sections of the Federal Deposit Insurance Act, a roster that includes Prize Pool, Ameristar, and virtual wallet firm Organo Payments. So that's kind of enough with that. And then I'll just call up this other article, but we can kind of discuss while I'm doing that or whatever.
So can you pull up that bad cookies comment? This is kind of off. I don't know what the comments were, but I just kind of saw this. So bad cookies, you should come to civilian discourse on Monday because the second demand is healthcare. So we're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff. And we'd love to have your input, Mastermind and I. So, and COVID did mess up a lot of people's lives. I have COVID brain. I can't even remember. You could take it down. Michael, you know how you used to, like, if you want to recall something, you could think of like, oh, was it summer? Was it winter? You know what I mean? Like, was it spring? And where was I at the time? And then you could like break it down the year and the month or whatever. I can't do that anymore.
No?
Because I lost because I was in New York City during COVID. I was in the house for 2 years. I couldn't go anywhere.
Damn.
So my whole, like my recall is so off because I basically, there's like a gap in between what stuff used to be and what started happening after it was over. And so I can't really, my brain can't compartmentalize and focus on trying to, remember things in the past. It's very strange.
I can relate to that in some way because I feel like same sort of thing happened to me where even before the lockdown happened, I was kind of spending too much time at home. But like if you spend too much time isolated away from everybody, it does really like mess with your like spatial temporal awareness. Like there's shit being damaged probably.
Yes, absolutely. And this is, I had Zoom. So my friends, we would do a Friday night dance party. So we would all go get on Zoom and we would all play music. Like we would take turns playing different songs and we dance in front of the camera, like trying to feel some type of, whatever. And then on Sunday, we would have a conversation, which was really weird because I started learning how liberal my New York friends really were. I'm like, wait, what did you say? So, I got to know them a lot more.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's a whole nother like we could go spend a whole hour talking about that, but we're not.
Well, we might as well finish off that article, and then I feel like that should be enough content for today, and then we can shoot the shit for a bit or get out of here, whatever people want.
And this is what you want me to read?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have to scroll down for you, or maybe I should send you the link or whatever, so you can.
You can scroll down for me. It's fine. The collapse of a fintech firm with 10 million users has left many Americans without access to their money. A court dispute has, it's kind of hard for me to read.
Let me blow it up a bit. Sorry. Is that
Thank
better?
you. Yes. Yeah. Even with my glasses, I'm supposed to be wearing bifocals.
No, 100% is not good.
I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm at the bifocal stage, but I didn't like them. I bought some and I didn't like them. So, but anyway, yeah, thank you. A court dispute has ensnared potentially millions of Americans, leaving them without access to their money for nearly 2 weeks.
So I looked that up. It says in this article nearly 2 weeks, but they still don't have access to their money. This is from May 22nd, 2024.
So that's a month.
Yeah.
But a month now.
Yep.
Okay, a dispute between a fintech startup and its banking partners has ensnared potentially millions of Americans, leaving them without access to their money for nearly a month, according to recent court documents. Since last year, Synapse, am I saying that properly? Synapse?
I think so. Let me
Okay.
make it a little bit bigger here.
And
And
it's backed startup. I didn't even want to try the first name. That serves as a middleman between customer-facing fintech brands and FDIC-backed banks, has had disagreements with several of its partners about how much in customer balances it owed. The situation deteriorated in April after Synapse declared bankruptcy following the exodus of several key partners. On May 11th, Synapse cut off access to a technology system that enabled lenders, including Evolve Bank and Trust, to process transactions and account information, according to the filings. That has left users of several fintech services stranded with no access to their funds, according to testimonials filed this week in a California bankruptcy court. One customer, a Maryland teacher, a teacher, y'all messing over the teacher. His name is Chris Buckler. He said in a May 21st filing that his funds at crypto app Juno were locked because of the Synapse bankruptcy. I'm increasingly desperate.
Oh, those poor crypto bros. Those poor crypto bros.
I'm increasingly desperate and don't know where to turn, Buckler wrote. I have nearly 38,000 tied up as a result of the halting of transaction processing. This money took years to save up. As a teacher, I'm sure it did. 10 million end users. Until recently, Synapse, which calls itself the biggest banking as a service provider, helped a wide swath of the U.S. fintech universe provide services like checking accounts and debit cards. Former partners included Mercury, Dave, and Juno. Wait, what? Mercury.
Dave is a weird name for these companies.
No, these are apps, right?
I guess.
I think Dave and Juno are apps. So maybe they're owned by Mercury, or former partners include Mercury. That is weird.
I think they're all partners, I guess, with the Synapse. So there may be firms that have apps as their business or whatever.
Yeah. They should have put, anyway, well-known fintech firms that cater to segments including startups, gig workers, and crypto users. Synapse had contracts with 20 banks and 100 fintechs, resulting in about 10 million end users, according to an April filing from founder and CEO.
There's a name.
Pathak didn't immediately return an email seeking comment. Of course he didn't. A spokesman for Evolve declined to comment, instead pointing to a statement on the bank's website that read in part, that's so cowardly. Synapse's abrupt shutdown of essential systems without notice and failure to provide necessary records needlessly jeopardize end users by hindering our ability to verify transactions, confirm end user balances, and comply with applicable law. It is unclear why Synapse switched the system off, and an explanation couldn't be found in filings. We are scared.
You should be, I think.
You should be. And when they go completely digital, you're going to be terrified. Another customer, Joseph Dominguez of Sacramento, California, told the bankruptcy court on May 20th that he had more than $20,000 held up in his Yoda fintech account. We are scared that money will be lost, and Synapse cannot provide ledgers and documents to Evolve or Yoda to prove we are the legitimate owners. I mean, shouldn't he have a bank statement or something?
I thought you guys were confident that this system was very reliable and all this Bitcoin and stuff was perfectly like trustworthy, even though it's supposed to be a trustless system and all that. I don't understand people's logic or whatever.
Well, okay, so you're talking about, so Bitcoin is open source, and it has to be data mined constantly. So that's why they say it's unhackable
So this
and
stuff is
trustworthy.
different. I don't understand the
This is-
differences, and I'm sure they're very different for in a real way.
Yeah, this is a company that was handling their funds who is failing. So it's not the coin, it's the company's management. This is what I'm gathering. If
Yeah,
anyone in the chat wants to comment.
but even like
But
Bitcoin has to have some kind of fintech firm that manages all those coins, whatever. Otherwise, how does it function, right?
Mastermind Hour says, I'm pulling all my money out of the bank and investing it all in toilet paper. I've already seen the future.
That is
Or,
funny.
you know what you could do, Mastermind? You could buy gold from Jimmy Dore.
Yeah.
The Colonial, I forget the name of the company. I thought it was kind of hilarious.
Colonial metals, yeah.
I thought it was kind of hilarious that Colonial is in your name, like red flag.
And they do it so nonchalantly, like they just like not even pretending like they don't even notice the irony or whatever.
Right. It's like right in your face. Let me finish reading this quote. Is it true that they're doing drug tests for debate?
That was funny, yeah. They really should have to drug test Biden, but I doubt that they actually
They
say
won't,
they
but they should.
yeah. They can't do that because his dignity needs to be respected or whatever. What fucking dignity he has, I guess.
Not to get off top, you can leave that up for a second. Did you see Hunter Biden take a bump on the balcony of the White House? Did you see that?
Recently, he did another video or whatever.
No. This was how long ago was that, Todd Smith? It's been a couple of months. But
Yeah,
they're all on the balcony, and the dude is like sweating, looking crazy, and he was like, and then I was like, did this motherfucker just snort a line of like a bump on camera
on national television,
on national television
in the White House.
in the White House?
Well, the guy's got
wild work.
That as much. Right? Say what you will about him.
But look, when they found that cocaine in the White House, nobody knows where it came from. Come on.
Well, it's also like it's like the roach problem, right? Like when by the time you actually see one out in the daylight, you know your problem's been like rampant. So it's the same. By the time you actually see them actually use the coke in daylight in the White House, whatever, it's been there probably for decades, right? But then it's finally spilling out in the open because of just how unchecked the corruption has become. So
it's like they're not even trying anymore.
Yeah, they couldn't restrain themselves if they wanted to.
Rondo, I think whatever IV drip they give the Pope, I think that's what Biden is on.
People like this adrenochrome
Not the new Pope,
conspiracy,
the old Pope.
You know?
Hmm?
So people love that adrenochrome conspiracy, or whatever. They say he's on the blood of children. That's what keeps him young. So,
oh, yeah. I've heard about that too, yes.
that's a little far-fetched, I'd imagine. There's, if anything, there's the tiniest kernel grain of truth to it, maybe. But like,
I mean,
when you try and read up, I don't know exactly. Is it? Because apparently they did research and the adrenochrome thing they thought was going to have some kind of therapeutic value in stuff like schizophrenia. And then it turns out, according to the scientists, that it was not what they thought it would be or hoped it would be. And it turns out to be a useless kind of drug. That's the sort of thing maybe they would tell the public. They really found something interesting. Who knows?
It's good to see you here, Mouse at SF.
Yeah, good to see you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying I haven't really been paying attention much to who's in the chat today, so if I haven't really given you guys the love, my bad. Yeah,
Todd Smith is our Shmasha is working the chat, and we thank you for it, Todd Smith. Okay, so the quote. I was just thinking in my head that Better Half probably should work the chat on Monday because she hasn't done it yet. And I want her to get familiar with it. And that's Mastermind Hour's better half hour. So the quote, we are scared. Oh, hold on. Mastermind says blood sacrifices have been done every day since the dawn of civilization. Exactly. That's why I said, is it though? Is it far-fetched?
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
is that the adrenochrome will actually have the effect that it is claimed to have had. So I'm sure that people would do a sacrifice believing that it does give them some kind of supernatural effect, but that's like belief and reality are two different things. So
well, I'm sure they're switching out their organs with young people's organs.
it's one of those things. The only way to really find out is to do an unethical science experiment that we're not allowed to do because it's unethical. So, yeah.
So here's the quote. We are scared that money will be lost in Synapse. Money will be lost in Synapse. Cannot provide ledgers and documents to Evolve or Yoda to prove we are the legitimate owners. We don't know where our direct deposit has gone. Oh, they're getting direct deposits too? Ooh. We don't know where our pending withdrawals are currently held.
You don't know
Damn,
shit if you don't know
that
that.
sucks. Wow. The freeze up of customer funds exposes the vulnerabilities in the banking as a service, or BAAS. Oh, okay. So that's like,
I don't even know what I thought banking
so
was banking as a service, but now there's a different way of banking that's
I can explain it. So because I came from a tech background. SaaS means system as a service. And so basically, companies figured out, instead of selling you the product, like instead of selling you a CD with QuickBooks, now they put QuickBooks online and sell you a subscription. So they control the system, and then you pay for the service.
not an
So it's
improvement to
it's
me.
just all these subscription things. That's basically what it is.
That's
So
like the convenience factor they're used to argue for people. Like, we'll own the thing, and then you can have access to it, and it'll just be so much more convenient to you. But it's totally like, if you want to be strategic, that's like the worst arrangement anyone would actually want to have. But that's the one they offer.
Mm-hmm. So BAAS is a partnership model and a possible blind spot for regulatory oversight. Wow. The BAS model, used most notably by the pre-IPO fintech firm Chime, allows Silicon Valley style startups to tap the abilities of small FDIC backed banks. Together, the ecosystem helped these companies compete against the giants of American banking. So yeah, Chime they don't have any brick or mortar. It's kind of like Stash. They don't Chime, Stash. What's the other? Like Cash App. They don't have a brick and mortar where you can go to conduct business. It's all via the app or online.
Right, which is kind of like a shell company or whatever, like an illegal criminal organization would have, where you can call a secretary on some phone, but you can't actually find a PO box or a building to actually find a real person.
Regulators, mount up. Oh no. Okay. Regulators, stay away. You remember that song? Regulators, mount up.
I
It
don't
was a
know.
clear dark night. What? How it go, Toshman?
I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds funny. Yeah, I think
I'm sure somebody knows in the chat.
I don't know if you want to keep reading this whole thing, or there's not that much left there, I think, but
Oh, she was Tosh was telling me who it is. Warren G. That's old school rap. All right, regulators, stay away. Customers mistakenly believe that because funds are ultimately held at real banks, they were as safe and available as any other FDIC insured accounts, said Jason McCullough, a consultant and newsletter writer who has tracked this case closely. This is 10 million plus people. Dang, 10 million. Oh, 10 million plus people who can't pay their mortgages, can't buy their groceries. This is another order of disaster. Regulators have yet to take a role in the dispute, partly because the underlying banks involved haven't failed. the point of which the FDIC would usually intervene to make customers whole. The FDIC and Federal Reserve didn't immediately return calls seeking comment. So they haven't technically failed, but they're
They
not
totally failed.
actively working.
They're just not going to acknowledge that their failure and going to keep moving forward as if nothing's fucking happening. While 10 million plus people can't pay their mortgages and can't buy them. But nothing to see here, folks. Regulators regulating, has yet to take a role in the dispute, but it's there for a reason.
This is sad.
Yeah, sad.
Because-
And you know what? Nobody's like, there's a huge order of another disaster, but is anyone fucking talking about it, hearing about it? Not even a little bit.
And in every disaster, somebody's making money. So who's making money? That's the question that not going to be discussed in these articles.
Yeah, banks are posting Q1 profits, whatever 75% or whatever. Like, I don't know what I read in the first article. I forget exactly, but they're still acting as if they're making money hand over fist, while there's customers that can't access their money. Like,
and you know how a bank can for every dollar that they have, they can loan out, I think 10 upward 10% of that dollar. I think it's 10%. It might be more by now because they're all criminals, but I wonder if they're holding these funds and using them to loan out money. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like I only need $1. I only need $1 to loan $10 to 10 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I wonder if they're using that as credible money that they can loan money out to other people with.
Right.
There's so many questions. Oh my gosh.
Well, we would need the regulator to tell us that.
Warren G. Okay, so a warning. Can you go up for me?
Oh, sorry, I gotta get back.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
In pleading with the judge in this case, Martin Barash, to help the impacted customers, Buckler noted in his testimonial that while he had other resources besides the locked account, others are not as lucky. So far, the federal government is not willing to help us, Buckler wrote. As you heard, there are millions affected who are in far worse straits. Reached by phone on Wednesday, Buckler said he had one message for Americans. Now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I want to make people aware, yeah, your money might be safe at the bank, but it is not safe if the fintech or the processor fails. If this is another FTX, can you look that up for me? I don't know what FTX is. If this is another FTX, if they are doing funny business with my money, then what? Then you're screwed. How about that?
The FTX to me reminds, I think it's that Sam Bankman. Yeah.
Just the two of us.
FTX is a bankrupt company that formerly operated a fraudulent cryptocurrency exchange and crypto hedge fund. The parents of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, are being sued for money.
Oh, yeah. That guy. He got 25 years.
Yeah. If this is another FTX, if they were doing funny business with my money, then what? Oh.
Then you get screwed and they go to jail, but they don't get your money back. Like, did they get that Murdoch money back? No.
So yeah, when we heard about that Silicon Bank Valley, whatever, Sam Bankman-Fried stuff, and everyone said whatever, they're gonna look into making the financial world safer, whatever.
He faced over 100 years in prison, but he got 25.
Yeah, they didn't do shit though. Like they maybe didn't like did more than slap him on the wrist. They made an example of him, but they haven't corrected any of the issues that led him to feel like it was okay to try and do what he did. There's no deterrence. The whole reason why the cops have guns and put people in jail is the deterrence factor to prevent other people from like out of the fear of witnessing that they won't be willing to do that because they'll be afraid of the consequences. So where's that fucking mentality with the fucking financial people? It just doesn't exist.
And it won't exist because they're benefiting. This is kind of off topic a little bit, but Sam Benjamin, his name is Samuel Benjamin Bankman Fried. So he actually said the quiet part out loud about how he would fund, he would donate money to like Democrats in the open, but then he would donate money to Republicans like in secret, dark money through other areas. That way, no matter who's in office, he's still gonna get what the hell he wants. And that's what lobbyists do. They give them both money. So no matter who's in office, they're gonna get what they want. So, yeah.
Rondo said he was the biggest Democratic donor from the last election, and then I feel like there was some kind of conflict of interest where like Biden was giving him money somehow, or the Democratic Party was using FTX or something in some way. I don't really remember the details, but there's something like that going on.
Interesting.
So and then
that's why we had to get money out of politics, which was that was part of the first list of demands. Jacqueline, was it Jacqueline who asked I can't remember now who asked what are the 11 demands, but that was demand number 1. And Jacqueline, you could go on the channel and find that and watch it. The demand number 1, the stuff we talked about. I'm very curious to know, because we did gave Eric a few. I think we came up with 3 things that weren't on the list that I thought should be added. I'm curious to see if he adds them.
Yeah, it's always a question. How many demands is too many demands?
Well, no, it was like it's the same bullet points. It's just like expounding on it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. So anyway, should we read some of these comments and then head out?
Yeah, I saw one Golden Monarch had a comment earlier. This one here. No, not this one. I just skimmed live stream back a little. Okay, so clearly the truckers' bank accounts, and I believe digital wallet, isn't the first nor the last from governments to freeze accounts. Yeah. So
yeah, we didn't really even mention the truckers today, did we? So thank you, Golden Monarch, for saying that, because they froze their accounts just for protesting.
Everyone is acting like that's such a big, huge precedent that's never happened before. But look forward to this happening a lot more frequently going forward. So.
And then look to the 2 different cults to cheer it on when it's happening to the other side, and then get pissed off when it happens to them.
Yeah.
Just wait for that one.
Yeah, just like censorship.
Hi, John H. in the house. We have 30 people here. That's awesome. Please like, share, and follow.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.
Bryce said that's a fact. Yes. Like they were all so excited to censor people on Twitter and whatnot until they got censored.
It's like the imperialist way, where they're so excited to go to genocide somebody until it's fucking happening to them. So it's just a matter of time, really, until their hypocrisy kind of blows up in their face. So.
Bad Cookies says, thank you, Michael. That was a very informative article.
Well, thank you, Bad Cookies. So I saw that hacking thing, and then I'm glad I went down that rabbit hole, because I feel like maybe they revealed that information for a reason. Maybe people want to know what they want us to know. So hopefully we learn something for a reason.
Yeah. There's no censorship here. We're not blocking anybody. Now I say that and then I'm thinking, what if patrol comes on here like, harassing people? Maybe for that we would, but
Right.
not for having an opinion that we don't agree with.
It's, I guess, I think the analogy I like to use is like a bar with a bouncer. Any bouncer can kind of get carried away and just abuse somebody that doesn't deserve it. But then if you want to try and run a bar without a bouncer, anybody can kind of wander in and kind of hold you over the barrel or whatever. You kind of need that desperate times, desperate measures, whatever.
Yeah.
Carry a big stick.
Yeah, Mouse. I had my glass. That's not a glass. That's a cup of wine. Cheers. It's almost gone. There we go. And you're going to need your beer for this debate. What is he saying? Oh, thank you, Golden Monarch, Abby, Michael, Mastermind. You folks rock. I'll have to watch this stream from beginning to get the full scoop. Not today, but perhaps tomorrow. Not today. We have to. You need to go laugh at this presidential debate.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hoot.
Whenever
you know
get
it.
Thank you for your words.
What was that? Tossman? Tulsi likes to play into the identity politics as much as she likes to complain about it. There is no clout in shitting on crypto. That's bad cookies. I'm not really sure what he. I think he's performing the Golden Monarch, and I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a crypto fan, by the way. I just want to say that. I think it's an interesting concept. And I have some Bitcoin. I need to check on my Bitcoin. Now that you mention it. Mouse SF says, it's funny that RBN don't realize when they are stuffing off core members of the community, like Mastermind Hour and I don't know who BC is.
Bad cookies.
Oh, bad cookies. Oh, sorry. Duh. Bryce says, Abby do. That's what I'm about to do soon. I'm gonna drink and watch women's hoops as well. Oh, yes. Angel Reese. And what's the other one? The rapper. What's her name? She don't play in the WNBA, but she'll be there soon. What's her name? Flo? Yeah, I like them. And then I guess Caitlin Clark. Kate, what's her name? Caitlin Clark. Okay, Mastermind Hour says, I can't wait for someone to stitch the debate. Oh, I lost it. With the RFK live stream. RFK is live stream. How can he live stream the debate? Okay, so Bad Cookie says, Abby do, there is a huge push on crypto. Golden Monarch shows a lot of evidence of the banks and government doing things behind the scenes, setting up crypto. Okay, so Golden Monarch, how about you message us and we'll cover it?
That sounds interesting.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah. It's something like we all kind of suspect, but we kind of, without the actual receipts, we can't really claim as if we know it to be 100% true. So.
Bitcoin is blockchain. That is true. It's crypto. Yeah, I understand that. But I don't know the details you guys are talking about, and I want to learn. So, yeah, message us. We'll definitely research it and cover it. Absolutely. Well, mainly the biggest players that come to mind from Worms K Jr. to Philip. What?
You got all these nicknames.
Yeah, that's above my head. You can message me on X. Abby do, Abby don't. It's right there at the. Oop, wait, right there. And follow me. The debate is on at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. Is that correct? I think that's correct. 8 Central, 9 Eastern. And I wanted to just say, who's in Las Vegas? Bryce. Bryce, what do you think about that new ball? That Vegas ball. It is crazy work. You seen it, Michael?
What's that?
The
Sorry.
Vegas ball.
No. What's that?
It's I'm about to tell you in 1 second. INN is streaming for the debate. Ooh, that's okay.
I
Well,
may watch some of it, but
I mean, if they're willing to stream it, then I mean that's kind of crazy because CNN owns the. I hope they don't get a strike.
well, I didn't go re-up on my alcohol tonight because I got to work in the morning. So if I didn't have to work tomorrow, maybe I'd be happy to get drunk and watch those clowns or whatever. But
Yeah. So Rondo says 9 Eastern, and Mouse SF. That's fair. That's fair. He's keeping his money close to him, close to his pockets.
yeah,
That's definitely fair.
I haven't invested in crypto because I just felt like it was a pyramid scheme kind of, and it seems like it is. But just like all of these bubbles or whatever, you can make money off of them, even if it's bullshit. I just don't feel right doing that, you know.
Oh, they're doing audio only. Oh, smart move.
Nice.
So, and once I read this one, I just want to. Okay, that would be too late for me because she's in the UK. So Bryce, yeah, look out. It's so big. I'm sure you could probably look out your window wherever you are and still see it. So Michael in Las Vegas, well, they did 2 major things. One, they built a new stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. And you know those stadiums are subsidized with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
And which is wild work to me. It's like, so I already paid for this damn stadium for the owner, and then I got to pay to come to the to watch.
Well, entertainment and sports is treated like it's like a necessary, like a utility, but fucking healthcare is not, or whatever. Like, okay.
But they made this like really big ball. It's a digital ball, so they can change it, and it's really wild. It's like I don't even know how to explain this thing. Huh? Yep.
Is it like one of those things that you
We're
can
almost
put
we're
like
almost done.
any kind of
You could
like
put
image
anything, any
on it?
visuals on it.
I
Yeah.
might have seen this. You could put like make it look like a giant eyeball or something. Like,
You could do whatever you want.
yeah.
And I mean, honestly, it's a sight to see. But how much money did they spend on that thing?
And how much electricity is required to power that thing at full power? Like, probably takes like a whole like energy that could power an entire city for this one
I
little device.
mean, how much does it take to power the Las Vegas Strip?
Right. We don't want to think about that kind of thing, right?
Yes. My cousin and I have a cousin and an aunt that lives in Las Vegas, so I've been there a few times.
So it's getting really hot out here, guys. But let's turn on the big screen, right?
Well, there's also a strip. I don't know what they call this. What is a strip on the strip, I guess, that has an overhead that's fully digital as well. So you just look up and there's stuff like flying past you and
Well, we won't need the VR goggles because they're going to turn the whole reality into a virtual reality.
yeah, the whole place is a VR goggle.
Kind of cool, but creepy.
Oh, Mouse SF says it's called projection mapping. I think he's talking about the ball, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, the future is pretty awesome or whatever. If whoever makes it there's going to be some pretty amazing tech, right?
Mm. Oh, Fremont. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you. That's the name of that thing that you walk through. It's kind of cool because they have zip line. So they shoot you out of a slot machine and you zip line above the people that are walking.
Nice. Yeah.
I know. I wanted to do it. Todd Smith and I went with my mother. My mom was ready to do it. 73-year-old woman wanted to zip line, but we didn't do it because Todd Smith had an injury on her shoulder,
Oh, that's
and they said it's not a good idea
no.
because it jerks you. You know.
Yeah, I did a zip line once, and when I went to vacation in Mexico with my parents when I was 18 or whatever. Last holiday I was been on, actually, from what I can remember. So, but it's fun.
Bad Cookie says it takes 400. So, what's the K if it's megawatts?
400,000 megawatts.
Oh, 400,000. Okay. 400,000 megawatts to run the Vegas Strip for a day. That's just the Strip. So, and when you're talking about the Strip, you're talking about like the hotels and all that stuff? Because, I mean, that ball has to be double that. And what about the stadium?
It's a hell of an electric bill.
Is Leora here? Hi, Leora. You've been quiet. But we're about to get out of here. Hi, Kill Your Egregores. I said it right, didn't I? Oh, Monarch got married. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I don't know what I didn't hear about any of this, but
I know.
congratulations.
Congratulations. Yay. Mazel tov. Grocery shopping. Me too. Me too, girl. But we're about to head out. I do have a video just about Sam being sentenced. If we want to go out with that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm trying to think on the spot of any announcements that I should have planned ahead of time, but I guess I don't really have any this week. So watch all the other independent media people, INN, RBN, although if they're booting people for trying to be giving them critical, have an actual conversation, I don't know how much we should be recommending people go view them or whatever, but I don't know. Sorry to hear that, Bad Cookies. But
yes, Leora, we are. Oh, I am. Are you going to watch the debate, Michael?
I'll watch some of it here, but try not to get looped into it. I keep staying up too late, and I gotta have a bedtime. Not be so anarchist.
Thank you, Tosh Schmidt, for saying that. Yes, thank you all for sharing your time and your thoughts with us. You could be anywhere else, and you chose to be with us, and we appreciate that.
Right. Well, that reminds me. Go ahead and watch the Canadian Commie if you got time. Whatever, Tuesday to Thursday, 6 to 9. He says that often. That same line or whatever. You could be anywhere watching anyone else, and you came to watch us. So I appreciate that very much. Right. So it's true. Right.
Good night, Jacqueline.
Good night. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Maybe you can go meet my sister. She lives out in the UK too. In a small world.
So Sean's like, hey, everybody head over to INN. I want to laugh and not cry. I'm going to see you over there, Sean. How about that? I'm going to be watching too.
Yeah.
Some people are going to go to Rumble to watch with Due Dissidents. So
right.
wherever you fall, we'll see you again next time.
Yeah. Sometimes I just prefer to watch without making comments. Be a little bit of a lurker sometimes.
Okay, so we're heading out, and I'm skipping the debates. I know filler debateless Zionist nonsense. Yes, it is. If CNN asks about Trump and Biden about currency, still don't care because everyone there is lying. I mean, you have a point. I'm just going to watch for the hilarity of it all.
Yeah. I'll watch until I get bored, which may be 5 minutes or an hour. I really don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, happy marriage, Golden. And look, when you guys go watch this debate, do not let these people get your blood pressure up. Don't let them do it. Laugh at it.
That's where I've been doing a lot of that. I've been watching all this content these last few years, and I've been letting it get to me and stress me out and age me prematurely and stuff. And there's no point in doing, like, if you're gonna engage with this stuff, don't let it eat you alive. Like, it doesn't need to be that way.
Mm-hmm. Where did Bad Cookie see you yesterday?
I was on the INN. Yeah, I was drinking a bit, whatever.
Oh,
Being a bit more talkative than I usually am.
I wish I would have been there. Because Michael is a hoot, y'all.
Right?
For real.
Well, I try so hard not to get out of that shell there. I don't know why, but I'm afraid I'm embarrassing myself probably.
We got a running bet. $10 says Biden poops his pants.
I don't know. I'm not taking that bet. Those odds are not looking good.
Oh my gosh. I'm such a giggler. I gotta stop. All right, so we're headed out. Is that?
Yeah, we're trying to get out of here. We'll just chit chat all night. So.
I know, and I need to woosah before I watch this fuckery. So here we go. We're out of here, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a good night. We love y'all.
Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced founder of crypto exchange FTX, was sentenced to 25 years on Thursday after he was found guilty last fall of fraud following the collapse of his company in late 2022. Bankman-Fried was convicted in November on 7 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, commodities fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, defraud the Federal Elections Commission, and commit campaign finance violations. Prosecutors previously asked New York District Court Judge Louis Kaplan to sentence Bankman-Fried from 40 to 50 years in prison, but he faced a statutory maximum sentence of 110 years. At the hearing on Thursday, Kaplan determined that FTX's customers lost $8 billion, its investors lost $1.7 billion, and its lenders lost $1.3 billion. Bankman-Fried's lawyers asked Kaplan for a lighter sentence of 5 to 6 years in prison because FTX promised to return the money customers lost. But Kaplan dismissed this promise on Thursday, calling the repayment, quote, misleading, logically flawed, and speculative, Reuters reported. Kaplan also found that Bankman-Fried gave perjured testimony when he told the court he had no knowledge that Alameda Research spent customer funds from FTX, and said Bankman-Fried committed witness tampering at least twice. Bankman-Fried's attorneys previously said they plan to appeal his conviction. Bankman-Fried founded his crypto-focused trading firm, Alameda Research, in 2017. He later founded the exchange FTX in 2019 and served as its CEO. Bankman-Fried rode the wave of crypto enthusiasm as Bitcoin's price began breaking records in 2021 and 2022, quickly amassing a fortune that Forbes valued at $24 billion in 2022, before his rapid fall from grace. His empire fell apart in November 2022, after a report from CoinDesk shined light on irregularities on Alameda's balance sheet. Forbes later reported Alameda Research was losing billions since at least 2021. Prosecutors accused Bankman-Fried of using customer funds from FTX to prop up Alameda Research, which would make increasingly risky bets. Bankman-Fried was arrested that December and extradited from his home in the Bahamas. He was placed on house arrest, but was ordered to report to jail in August 2023 after being accused of attempted witness tampering. For more on this story, check out Zachary Folk's article in the link in the description.